Yo, what's up, people? Welcome back to the Gifted Biscuit podcast, hosted by me, Jahlil Tobee, aka Captain CoStar. What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? I'm gonna let y'all know I'm doing great today. I'm feeling full of positive vibes, and I hope you are too on episode 8 of what is now, if it's not already, your favorite place for all the inspiration, motivation, all that stuff in between. As with the last episode, this episode will have another curse counter. Because I'm trying to keep accountable, you know? I feel like out of everything else, I want my message to be the best it can be, and I need to master the art of controlling my words and making them the best version and value they can be, and that means ixnay on the Urske, okay? So we're going to try to keep our mouths clean, and we're going to try to make sure our words are clearly understandable, and just make sure that we're getting our message across. So, with that said, before we start the show, as always, let me thank everyone for their continued support. Remember, without you guys, this just wouldn't be possible. So thank you guys for all your shares, likes, comments, engagement. Thank you for all that stuff. And for anyone who is new listening, hey, if you're watching this on the video version at youtube.com/coffeeshopnetwork, you can take this show on the go. That is right. You can take us to go on Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, Anchor, Apple, and Google Podcasts. You can pretty much find us on every major one. If I didn't just list one, just search up Gifted Biscuit and enjoy. Also, if you do like the show and the show's previous, please make sure to rate us 5 stars. It helps move you up the algorithm, which gets me new listeners and somehow supports the show, which I need because I am poor. Today is November 17th, 2020, and we're going to get into episode 8. And I just want to say, I'm starting to feel myself a little bit with this, you know? I'm starting to get a little comfortable, you know? Starting to get in my own little zone. Yeah, today I'm a little pumped right now, if y'all can't tell. Like, I'm getting into it, because like I tell y'all every week, this is like the highlight of my week. Like, don't get me wrong. So I dread doing it. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I dread doing it for 2-3 days. I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna say? I don't know. I hope this works. I hope I don't look stupid. I hope everything's working and recording, because there was a few times in the beginning where I had I almost caught myself slipping. I had a great episode and I went off and I was killing it, and then my thing just wasn't recording. So I was like, I gotta do it next week. I gotta do another one. And so I'd be dreading this, because any number of things, for anyone who doesn't create content, and for those who do, who can feel me on this, there are so many things wrong that can go wrong when you're creating content. Your camera turns off, you wasn't recording in the right aspect ratio, your lighting is dumb, there's somebody in the background, just a bunch of nonsense, man. And I'm just really happy that none of that right now is a problem. We're gonna get to this episode, we're gonna get it right, we're gonna get it tight, we're gonna build this plan while we flying it, and we just gonna vibe out, you feel me? We gonna get this together. So, with that said, if you read the title, or, well, no, you can read the title on the audio version, right? Yeah. Like I said, if you can read the title, are you in your own way? What does that mean? Why is it important? You know the general spell that I get into. So, are you in your own way? Do you critique yourself too much? Do you doubt yourself too much? And do you halt your own greatness? I personally really vibe with this. I need you to understand how much I doubt myself and how much I continuously am my own voice of negativity. So I know if you follow me on Instagram at Captain CoStar, the rolling scroll should have it here somewhere, shameless plug, or Twitter, or any social media, or my TikToks, which I'm gonna get on soon. I promise y'all, I used to do a few TikToks. I thought they were funny. I wanna do some more. I got a lot of balls in there. I'm telling y'all, in a week or two, y'all gonna see the stuff that I'm working on. It's gonna be awesome. But anyway, if you have seen me on my social medias, I try to be positive. I try to get on a couple times a week and just speak that positivity, you know? Be a positive force, because let's face it, 2020 is just on some mess, all right? By the way, can y'all tell that I'm really trying? I'm telling y'all, I'm trying not to curse. This is a challenge for me. 2020 has just been on some stupid stuff. So, as far as I'm concerned, if I can bring some positivity to somebody, if I can say, hey bro, hey sis, listen, you got this. You can do it. Yo, don't let them talk to you like that. That's what I want to do. So I try to be super positive. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm not positive all the time. This does turn off. And when I'm by myself, when I'm editing these videos, when I'm doing whatever, I get negative. I doubt myself. I say, ain't nobody gonna watch your dumb videos. Ain't nobody gonna read your dumb articles. By the way, you can find those articles on www.giftedbiscuit.com. We post articles, I thought, consistently. I try to be consistent on inspiration, motivation, pop culture, black culture, and all that stuff and more. Shameless plug. I'm gonna plug myself. That's another thing. Side note. I am going to plug myself because I put work in everything that I do. So on my own platforms, on every video I can, I am going to plug myself. And any content creator who has a platform via just social media or your own website or your own podcast or whatever, yo, plug your stuff because nobody else is gonna promo you like you can promo you, all right? So, like I said, I got off topic. I'm too busy getting hype promo myself. Like I said, I be doubting myself. There are so many great ideas I've had before this podcast, before this YouTube, before all this other stuff that I just never followed through on because I doubted myself, because I critiqued it too hard, because I never let it get out there to the people, to the masses to judge it for themselves. And I think that's trash. And I think a lot of people do that. I've always heard the saying, you know, well, how does it go? I'm about to mess it up. It goes, if you want to see the place with the most dreams, go to a graveyard or something like that. Because a lot of people's dreams died with them. Or something like that. Look, if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, wherever. Tell me how I said I be messing stuff up. Look, I can't be right all the time. Nobody can. But that goes into a part of doubting yourself. You assume that when you get on a public forum, you have to be right all the time. Man, President Trump has lied like how many, like I think there's like a counter out there, like 11 million times, man. You don't have to be correct 100% of the time. But I feel like because we create content and it's so emotional, we feel like it has to be 100% correct. You know, you can't make a mistake. You can't say you can't not know exactly what you're gonna say next. Look at your favorite content creators. Like really look at them. They say they have mistakes. They may be minimized, but that just comes with accountability and watching your own content and watching what you're doing and learning from those mistakes. But we all make mistakes. But to backtrack to the whole, are you in your own way? I feel like up until this episode, up until this time period of my life, I never really gave myself credit on things, right? So what some people may or may not know is that like I said, I was not always the most positive person. I wasn't the type of person who ever saw themselves on camera, and I never thought I'd put out as much content as I have. And that is because I was in my own way, because I did not believe in my own greatness. I did not believe that I could be a voice to a community, right? I did not believe that what I had to say was worth anything, right? And I feel like that plagues a lot of people. A lot of people stay small because they don't believe that they can take up a big space, even if what they have to say is a huge sentiment. And not only do I think our society makes us like that, but I think our friends, our family, sometimes subconsciously, sometimes they don't even mean it, but that's why it's super important for you to think highly of yourself, right? Woo! And this water. So for those that don't know, quick aside, because I be getting quick asides. I started the carnivore diet about 2.5 weeks ago. And for anyone listening who's thinking about doing it, I'm gonna let you know now, the one positive that I can say is that it makes water friggin' delicious. Like, water is like the nectar of the gods right now. This thing, I just feel hydrated, percolated, and all that good stuff. Well, let me get back to the topic. So, are you in your own way? And if so, are you halting your own greatness? Obviously, the answer is yes. Bar none, you can turn off the episode, move on with your life. Please don't do that. Please watch. I need the engagement. I'm poor. But we ask ourselves, how do we do this, right? How are we in our own way. And sometimes it's not always as blatant as saying, you know, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough for this. Sometimes we're in our own way just by the choices we make, right? Like I said in my last episode, you need to have, in order for us to create content, we have to have the space to do so, right? If you aren't actively making the space to do so, if you aren't actively trying to get better, you are putting yourself in your own way, right? Or let's just say, you know, your mind, your closed-mindedness to new opportunities is stopping you from reaching that level of success, right? So in that way, your own mentality is in your way of your success, right? Now I could go on and on and on. There are a million ways in which, you know, you are in your own way, right? There's a million ways in which other people are in your way. But knowing that, how can we avoid that, right? How can we get past that so that, or at least recognize it, right? I think not even get past it, but so let's recognize when it is happening so that we can stop that limiting belief and we can take the next step towards becoming better people, right? Because that's what it's about, right? It's about learning and growing and just taking that 1% leap, right? Just growing 1%, right? So how can we do that? I think that one way in which we can, you know, stop ourselves from being in front of ourselves is really being accountable and being present, right? So I think that when you feel yourself doubting yourself, right? When you feel yourself, you know, critiquing yourself really hard, right? And you feel like you're nitpicking everything and you feel like nothing that you're doing matches up to your vision, I think at that point, it is best to walk away from it for a while and come back to it. So I'm gonna give you all some of my personal experience, right? So on my YouTube channel, there is a series called Coffee Break, right? And the show was originally supposed to be this series where I just tackled things about creativity, right? About how I felt about it, about aspects about it, you know, offering different tips and tricks having to do with the trade, talking about some limiting factors and beliefs that held me back, or some things that I learned while doing it, right? And I did an episode and I put it out there, and then I just never did one again. And that's actually one of the things that I'm gonna bring up as one of the things that I've been working on is I'm gonna start releasing those again. And the reason why is because as I was editing the last podcast, I was just like, you know what? Let me go back and just watch it, right? It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Is it a masterpiece? No, but it's not that bad. And when I said that to myself, I realized I stopped doing something that could have helped other people, that could have added value to someone else's life because I was too harsh on the product, right? Because I was in my own way and didn't just release it and think better of it, right? Because so when you create something, right, you are gonna see all of its flaws. You are gonna see where you feel like you could have done better, but someone who wasn't there with the process with you, they just see the finished product. And essentially what I did in that moment when I stopped making Coffee Break episodes, I robbed a potential fan base from myself, and I robbed that potential fan base from gaining value in something. And I feel like we are constantly doing that. Hey, if you have an idea, even if it's nuts, write it down. Go see how far you can take that idea. And if the idea is plausible, take it as far as you physically can, because you never know. If you told someone, not even 20, 10 years ago, that you could hold a phone, tap it, food will appear, someone will drive you to the airport where you will then already have your plane ticket waiting to take you wherever you want to go, and you will be driven by a person you don't know who isn't a part of a cab company that you again can get from your phone, and then by the time you get to your hotel, which you got from your phone, the food you ordered will be there. If someone would have told that, the person who made all those things, if they would have told one person that idea, people would have called them nuts. Don't be the person that calls your own idea nuts. At least let your idea come out before it gets shot down. Don't shoot down your own stuff. We constantly by society, by our friends, by our family, by whoever, that you're not doing enough, that you aren't good enough, that you're not like those big companies. Oh, you doing your little YouTube thing? That's by the way. Another aside, real quick, for the Black and minority community. Let me just say this: we gotta stop using the word little. We gotta stop saying the word little like that, because that is the most detrimental thing to somebody's goals and dreams. Oh, I see you got that little job. Oh, I see you got your little car. Oh, you got your little degree, huh? You got your little job, huh? We gotta stop that. We gotta stop it, because we are belittling an accomplishment. I don't care if you out there driving a hoopty, working third shift at Arby's. Guess what? You got a job, you got transportation. That's something that I could say more than a lot of these bum dudes out here. We as the Black community, we as the minority community, we gotta stop constantly invalidating and belittling our people. Is his t-shirt business as big as Walmart? No. But you know what? He's trying. Is him trying to sell bottled water to fishes a bad business plan? Yes. But don't belittle his hustle. We need to stop trying to invalidate people and start trying to guide them to the right paths, right? In a sense, the Black community is in its own way because of stuff like that. Now, I want to move on to that point, and I want to move on to, where we can begin to fix this, right? Because I did briefly touch on it. Yes, I briefly touched on what you can do to get past that. But I think where in general we can do that is first by getting a support group. I always talk about support. Support groups are your biggest asset. I don't care if that is your husband, wife, boyfriend, pet, online forum, social media, whoever it has to be, that old dude on the corner who lets you, talk to him about your ideas, whoever it has to be, get to a support group that can unbiasedly as possible and honestly as possible give you good feedback. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes just being present in the moment isn't enough. Sometimes you are gonna get in your own way and there's not much you can do about it, because it is your baby, it's your creation. So having that second pair of eyes allows you to reframe it and judge it. And sometimes they might see something that you don't even see, right? Case in point, another project that I'm working on, I'm telling you, I feel like I keep saying, I got this project coming, I got this project coming. I really do have projects coming. It just takes forever, man. And I'm gonna take a good 5 minutes after I'm done with the show just to talk about that stuff and about just my journey and stuff, because I'm getting off topic. Back to what I was saying. I'm getting off topic, y'all. I don't know why y'all listen to me. This podcast is a mess, but please rate it 5 stars, please. But I feel like like I said, we need support groups. We need support groups, and we need to just be less harsh. No, we are not where they are, but they started somewhere too. And when we realize that, when we drop our egos, when we drop our expectations, when we drop our visions to feasible levels to where we can stepping stone them and, have our KPIs for what we're trying to do, our key performance indicators of saying, no, it is not a masterpiece, but it is a piece of content. No, it's not a superstore, but it is a little boutique. No, it's not a restaurant, but it is a little food truck. Let's level set ourselves correctly so that we can what's the word I'm looking for? Because I'm getting a little flustered because I'm trying to package it so perfectly, and that's my fault. That's one of my limiters, is that I keep trying to package my words in such a clear, concise way because I want y'all to get what I'm saying. But when we set these actual levels that are reachable, that are goalable, if that's a word, goalable, if we can set those, we don't have to always compare ourselves to the Walmarts, the Amazons, the Sephoras, the the MKBHDs, the PewDiePies, the Vincent Van Goghs of the world. We don't have to set ourselves to those, right? It's all about going. It's all about going and setting goals and then just achieving them and just climbing that mountain, man. And I promise you, as long as you are setting yourself up for success by setting feasible and realistic goals, I promise you the amount of times that you will find yourself in your own way is going to be a lot less. So with that said, that wraps up topic 1. Let's go on to main topic 2, which of course is always the Q&A. Now, before I start, let me just get a quick disclaimer in. What I say is not law. I am not God. Please do whatever you want to do. I just want to be your friendly neighborhood big bro who gives you a little advice that he comes across on his own struggles, his own trials and tribulations, trying to make content. So with that said, if you have a question, normally on Monday and Tuesday, if I can get that out, I normally try to put a little blurb out on my Twitter and Instagram, which again, please follow me. It's over there. Please hit it. You'll enjoy it. I normally ask people questions that have to do with the topic or just having to do with, life in general. But if you want to be anonymous, you can hit my email, www.costar123@gmail.com. It should be around here. Remember, everything will be anonymous. I want to keep people's names safe because you never know who's watching. So, with that said, Michelle on Twitter asked me, I often find myself tired and unmotivated. How can I get myself up and get to work? LOL. That's an interesting question. That's a really interesting question. So I thought about this for a while as I was writing the podcast notes like yesterday. And I was like, same. Truly, just same. Like a lot of people think that when you find something you want to do, like that you're supposed to just want to do that 100% of the time. Truth is no. Truth is not. Even though I have found what I want to do conceivably for like the next 10, 15 years, I still like to fucking play. Oh God. Oh no. That's like too. Oh man. I tried hard, guys. Okay. Whatever. Even though I still like to do things, right? Even though I still like to make videos and everything, and I found my passion, I still like to laze around. I still like to spend whole days watching Aqua Teen Hunger Force or playing a random indie game. Like I'd be blanking out. That's just the truth. And sometimes, we get tired and unmotivated, right? And I think a large part of this pandemic and a large part of working from home, like I've said in previous episodes, is that there's no uniform off days, right? There's nowhere to go, right? There's no such thing as the weekend because every day is a freaking Saturday. So because of that, I can't really have a grasp on, I don't have a set time to go, all right, this is the part where I'm productive, and then this is the part where I turn off my brain. But regardless of what you do, your brain still needs to turn off and relax every now and again. But the problem is because you no longer have a set time to do that, where you can say, I did my work, I'm a productive human being. Now, since every day is the same, when those urges to just chill out happen, suddenly you feel bad, right? You don't like what you're doing, but you're doing the same thing you were doing when you had a regular classical job with regular classical hours. It's just that at this point, you have to still take that time off. But because it's not structured the same way, you feel like you're unmotivated and you feel like you're tired. Personally, I would say before answering this question, I have to ask you a question, which is how much work, let's not look at last week, look at a month, right? How much work have you accomplished in that month, right? If you can look at that amount of work you've accomplished and you go, you know what, I did okay, then you're fine. It's not a matter of being tired and unmotivated. It's a matter of truly realizing that you have to do what you want to do, right? If you don't want to do a thing, you're not going to do it, or you're not going to do it well. It's a known fact that when you overload your employees or when you make them do something they don't want to do, they're not going to do it to the best of their ability, even if they try to. It's a known fact that if a workplace or a work environment is not fun and is filled with anxiety and the fear of failure, that your employees are not going to work at optimal levels. It's the same thing with your brain. If your brain knows the task you're about to do is not fun, is not enjoyable in any way, shape, or fashion, you're not gonna do it. You're gonna procrastinate. You're gonna waste time. You're gonna just not be motivated to do it because you don't wanna do it. So a trick to that I'm struggling to, implement in my own life, do the things you really wanna do. If you don't wanna do it, don't do it. Don't make excuses for not doing it. Don't feel guilty. I feel like our society constantly wants to make us feel guilty for not working ourselves to death. Listen, if you don't want to do it and it won't hurt you to not do it, put it off. When you wake up, do the thing that you want to do. All right? Your life is your life alone. Do the things that you actually want to do on that day. And I promise you, if you really wanted to do something, just not that day, it'll eventually come around and eventually you'll actually do it. But when you do it, you'll actually enjoy doing it, man. I can't tell you the difference between recording a podcast or a video where I wasn't really feeling it and I didn't really put that energy and that vibe into it. And then like now where like I feel so much more alive and so much more energy I can put into my videos because I like what I'm doing. And I feel like that's a struggle for me to learn how to like what I'm doing. So to answer your question, how can I get myself up and get to work? Do what you want to do. Do what you want to do when you want to do it. And if your work is something you actually want to do, you will do it at some point. My real advice to you on top of that is, hey, it might not necessarily be that you're tired and unmotivated. It might just be that you got to take some time off. You got to relax. You got to understand that in 2020, during this pandemic, off days aren't really a thing, so you have to make your own. And if you don't make your own, your brain's gonna make its own. And sometimes you can't control that. I've been talking a lot, and normally around the 27-minute mark is when I would, start my closing statements and my main takeaways, but push it. But I want to just quickly talk to y'all real quick on the side. So I often mention the things that I'm working on, just like things that I'm moving on and stuff. And so if you guys don't know, I have a lot of balls in the air. I'm an adult, so I'm not going to laugh at that. But no, seriously, I have a lot of projects that are in the works, some of which you guys are probably not going to see for like a year or 2 years, some of which you will hopefully see in the next week or two, some that are 4 months, 6 months down the line. And there's so many balls in the air, and I know there's a lot of content creators like me who are doing so many different things. It's often daunting, right? And it's often discouraging when I look at that project. Well, I look at one project in particular and I'm like, this didn't go anywhere. This moved 1%. But then I don't realize, hey, no, dude, you moved that. You moved your entire brand as a whole like 10% last week. It's just that you have 10 balls in the air. So divide it up, that's 1% on each, right? So that's why, I get discouraged sometimes because I look at other content creators. I'm like, that guy put out 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 videos in a week, and you are struggling to put out one. But then I look and I'm like, nah, he has a team. He either has a team or he has a system in place that makes it extremely easy for him. I don't have that time, and I haven't had the time to build a team to help that process go along smoother. So because of that, right? Because of that, his 10% that he put in that week, that equaled 10 videos. But he only had that one thing to do. Whereas I have 10 things, so my 10% is only gonna move things 1% up. But that's one of those things where I'm like, I'm in my own way. So I gotta go back and I gotta really reflect on what I did, right? I gotta really reflect on what have I done in this period of time. Can I say that I actively put all I could into that, right? And yeah, like I said, I'm feeling more into my own way about this stuff. I'm feeling more comfortable in this space. I'm feeling more comfortable making content. I'm really trying to grow to make content that I enjoy because I want you guys to enjoy it. I want you to get value out of it. I want you to learn and grow with me. That's the point of this, man. So with that said, we're going to go on to our closing statements. Main takeaways. Again, just to summarize it all up. Hey, You can and often are in your own way, especially when it comes to the things you want to do in life. Don't let your own self-doubt and don't let your own critique stop you from putting something out. Don't let your own limiting beliefs stop you from achieving the greatness that I know that you can achieve. Don't let other people, don't let your friends, your family, people on Reddit, whoever, to stop you, right? Don't let your ego be the reason why you don't get something done. Don't let your pride stop you from achieving something, right? Like I say on my Instagram videos, again, shameless plug, it is never, I repeat, never too late to start something, and it is never too early to learn from a previous mistake and start to do something positive. All right? It is never too late and it is never too early. Okay? We can always be better. We can always do better. We can always realize more. And one of the ways that we can stop ourselves from being on our way as much, because it will happen sometimes, is just being accountable and being present and cognizant of our emotions, so that when these situations happen, we can be present and say, nah, that's not really true. You know, nah, this isn't as bad as I think it is. But also, hey, get a support group. Get a second set, a third set, a fourth set, however many of eyes and ears that can critique your content in a way that helps you, right? When we get to that, then we can stop being in our own ways. Also, as a quick aside, like I said, for my own deal, hey, listen, you really have, when you make content, you really have to be honest, right? That's the thing they don't tell you. When you get on camera, when you start writing, when you start making songs, you have to be deadly honest with yourself. And part of being honest with yourself is being positive and saying, nah, this isn't as good as I want it to be, but I can make it get there. And no, this did not get as far as I wanted it to in this set of time, but that expectation was unrealistic, and I can do better to set better, more realistic goals. So with that said, hey, if y'all have any questions, you can hit me up at www.CaptainCoStar123@gmail.com with the subject line Q&A for all things life, finance, inspiration, motivation, and black culture, or any other stuff in between. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for listening or watching. If you're watching on the video version, at Coffee Shop Network, youtube.com. If you did enjoy the show, please rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Google, wherever you can, because it moves my show up the algorithm, which brings in new listeners, which I need because I'm trying to get the bag, y'all. I need that money. Dollar bills, y'all. Speaking of which, if you want to support the content, consider visiting our website, giftedbiscuit.com, where we post articles as frequently as possible on inspiration, motivation, and all that stuff in between. Also consider donating to CashApp at $CoStar, Captain CoStar. If you're on the video version, it should be here. If not, and you're on my socials, it should be somewhere in the descriptions below. Other than that, let me just take it with yo. I always thank y'all, but seriously, hey, thank y'all for listening. Thank you for watching. You guys make me better. I want to make this show better. I want to get a more uniformed way of doing the show. And thank you guys for sticking around for all the changes. Like I said, this show is going to try to continuously change and grow to meet the demands of you guys, as well as the demands that I place on myself. So again, thank you guys for being there. I can't wait to see you guys next week. Like I said, this is the highlight of my week. I can't wait to do this. Thank you guys for being here for episode 8. I can't wait to see you guys for episode 9. I'm going to see y'all next week. Peace. If you like this episode, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for all of our new episodes. Also, consider visiting www.giftedbiscuit.com for more in-depth articles from inspiration to motivation to much more. Have a great day.